Alright, what is good everybody? I hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to our second video in the new revisited dungeon gold farming series. Today, we're going to find out exactly how we can make up to 60 gold per hour from running Shadowfang Keep. If you've not seen the first video in the series though, where we was able to pull up to 50 gold per hour in the Wailing Caverns, then you can find a card to that video in the upper right hand portion of the screen right now. Alternatively, you can find a link down below in the description to this video. Anyways, today, as you can see, we're heading back to Shadowfang Keep. And just as a side note, I've now sussed how to do this in one pull no problem. Heck, I don't even need to bubble half of the time. After all, how fun is it to pull an entire dungeon and own it without needing to use any fancy tricks other than your own abilities? So for that reason alone, I'd massively appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up so that this video can be seen by more people to help them do the same thing. Jumping right into the fun facts now, and let's start out with some information about this gold farm. You'll be able to hit lockout in under 50 minutes with this gold farm. For Alliance, the nearest vendor is literally right outside in Briarwood Village, just don't go there at night time. If you're needing to visit a mailbox though, you're going to have to go all the way down to South Shore, as that's the closest one from here for the Alliance. You're also going to need to make use of both Uther's Strength and the Force of Will trinkets for this gold farm. Although, I don't know how much XP a lower level could get from here, I do know that since you can hit lockout and destroy the entire dungeon, I would go and say that you could charge for boosts in here too. Especially since not many people do actually boost here, you'd have no competition at all. For those who are between the Dead Mines and Stockades levels, it is a fantastic way to boost them in my opinion. Since I do see a lot of level 16 to 20 players wasting their gold getting minimal XP from the Stockades, it is logical, just saying. Moving into the negatives and the positives now, and let's start out with the negatives first, shall we? This gold farm is fairly low in terms of gold per hour. I wouldn't do this by myself if I'm being honest. Nor would I do this as my main income stream either. Speaking of gold per hour, it won't go up by much either, even if you send all of the greens to a bank vault to sell on the auction house. At most it's only 30 or 35 gold per hour if you were to do that. But of course if you didn't do that, then at worst this gold farm is only 20 gold per hour. Another negative is the fact that the nearest mailbox is in South Shore. So if you needed to go to a mailbox, you're going to waste about 15 minutes travelling back and forth. You won't be able to do this like I am in today's video with lower gear than what I have. Link in the description below to what gear and talents that I use, by the way. Although of course, my older version of this is split into a more manageable pull route for those of you who do have lesser gear. Link also below in the description box. The only thing that makes this viable is the off chance to get the likes of those highly sought after twink items, such as the Assassination Blade or the Shadowfang Sword, which both sell for well over 200 gold each on my server at the time of recording this video. The final bad thing about this gold farm is the fact that the vendor for the Alliance turns into a worgen at night. Or I'm not sure if that's a bad thing or not, it's kinda cool in my opinion. Just realise that you won't be able to use the vendor during the nighttime hours. Moving on to the positives now, and there's just as many good points to this gold farm. As mentioned, there is a potential market here now for a boosting service. Since you can do this way before lockout now, it would be worth your time to find a group and to take them through multiple times. You'd also have plenty of time for a quick break between lockouts too. Speaking of boosting services, this gold farm can easily go up to 60 gold per hour, which is where the boasted amount comes from in the title. If you were to charge 3 gold per person per run, multiplying this number by 4 for the amount of people that can join you gives you 12 gold per run. And then of course if we were to multiply 12 by 5 for the amount of runs that we can do, that's a whopping 60 gold per lockout, which is in under 50 minutes in most cases. I might even say it's more since we're also able to loot some raw gold and would potentially loot some greys too. And of course with the off chance to get a BOE blue, which you would state before you begin that those are also reserved. Then this might even go up to 70 or even 80 gold per hour. Not too shabby, eh? Also the fact that you can absolutely nail this place now in one pull is a huge advantage. It's things like this that made me come to WoW Classic in the first place. Doing the Hobbs way of pulling and having fun whilst doing it is an amazing way to play the game. The fact that a lower level dungeon like this also beats things like Diamond or Lasher Farm in gold per hour is insane too. Or at least be on par with it if you pick the herbs. But anyways, who is this good for? There is only 2 classes for this gold farm today. That's a Paladin and a Mage. Although I have no idea how a Mage would actually do this, or if they'd even be half as good as you are as a Paladin in this situation. Maybe one of you guys could let me know by posting in the comment section below. It would be awesome if you did. As you're about to see in the how-to commentary, you'll see exactly why a Paladin will dominate this gold farm. Unfortunately though, any other class would be terrible at this. There's just too many mobs and too much ground to cover to even be as half as effective as a Paladin here. Sorry warriors. And speaking of seeing the how-to, just in typical fashion, for these dungeon gold farming guides, I'm now going to switch over to a freestyle commentary of me doing the entire pull by giving as much information as I can whilst performing the pull. So without further ado, here we go. Okay everybody, so before we begin, I'd like to point out a few items that I'm actually using for this run, okay? So unlike the Wailing Caverns dungeon, like yeah, I know they're roughly the same sort of level, but the only difference is obviously that in this run there's a crap load more mobs on you, so you're going to need more defensive gear over the straight up damage gear, okay? So for this particular run, what we've done is we've swapped our trinkets out for Uther's Strength and the Force of Will compared to the previous video where I believe we had Ramstein's Lightning Bolts as well as the Briarwood Reed trinket, okay? So that's one thing that I just want to make clear for you guys as well, because it's very important that you do have these 2 trinkets. To be honest, like if you didn't have those 2 trinkets, you wouldn't actually be able to do this in one giant pull like I do in today's video, okay? Just as always as well, since they are low level, just because I don't want to kill them straight away, I want them all bunched together and rounded up so I can loot them easier. I'm going to be using Gizlock's Hypertech Buckler. So yeah, we'll be using that first and foremost. As for buffs as well guys, I've actually got a few scrolls that I've picked up over these few runs that I've done. So obviously this is the 5th and final run for today. Obviously the previous 4 runs took us about 40 minutes, so that's roughly, you know, 10 minutes per run. So what do we have? We've got a Scroll of Strength, that's 5 strength there. We've got a Scroll of Armour, that's 120 armour. We've also got a Scroll of Agility, that's another 5 agility on top of that. For this we're going to be using Devotion Aura as well, just at the start of the run as well guys, okay? So yeah, that's basically it, right? So here we go guys, 5th and final run for today before we tally everything up. Our bags are currently empty. We also got a really nice blue earlier on. That's actually the first blue that I found in this dungeon, believe it or not. But yeah, anyways, here we go guys. Here's the voiceover commentary of this run. So here we go guys, I'm going to give myself Blessing of Wisdom as well. And I'll make sure that my mana is completely topped up. Which it is. Okay, let's go. Start timer. We're going to tag this mob here. We'll get this one here. We're going to be using Seal of Light as well, okay? We've got an annoying slow effect there, so we'll dispel that. Now, it doesn't matter so much about strafing for this bit at the moment. Now, I'm going to judge that mob so I don't have to run up to him. Start strafing a little bit now, because we're losing a little bit of HP. Now we're going to jump directly over this like so. Open that. And talk to him ASAP, just so we can get the gate open quicker. And I'll remove that curse, because that's really annoying, because it reduces your movement speed. And I'm going to go over here, I'm going to zigzag my way through these pillars, jump on over again, and there we go. We'll just we'll casually go sleep here, I think, for 5 minutes, just whilst we wait for that guy. Nah, I'm just kidding. So yeah, recast Seal of Light, we'll judge it and we'll reseal again. And we'll just be switching through the targets, move that curse. Now as soon as you see a speech come up, which there should be one in a second, if I'm not mistaken. Ah, or not. Yeah, he's already opened it. So yeah, you're only waiting a couple of seconds for him to do that once he says that speech thing. So we're going to cast a rank 1 consecration right here, just to get those mobs. And now we're going to begin strafing as much as possible. So we judge that guy. We'll go over here like so. Get these. If we can judge it, yep, there we go, we'll get him. See, I know in some of the previous runs that you might have seen on the video, I actually went through the barn. It's better to obviously do what I just did there without going through it, just, you know, reduce the overall steps that you take. There's a chest there as well, guys, so always be cautious of that. Now, I know for these runs as well, right, I've not actually been, you know, getting the chests. So the reason for that is, number one, I wanted to get through these as fast as possible. Drop a rank 1 consecration there. But also for the fact that, you know, bag space is a real thing here. Like, honestly, like, I really, you know, can't manage to do more than 2 runs without needing to go to sell to that vendor just outside. So we're going to jump here, drop down rank 1 consecration there, just tag those mobs, and judge that one there, jump over the table like so. We're doing really well as well, guys. Full HP now. So always try and be aware of who you're targeting as well. Always try and get the ones closest to you. I know that a lot of them are going to be lagging behind like there in the background. You can pop off a holy potion there as well. But the reason for that is because obviously these ones that are closer to you, you can get off the weapon swing, which is obviously going to give you a little bit of HP back. So always try and tag the ones that are, you know, right in your face. Again, just casually strafing through here like so. Now we're coming up to the hard bit as well, guys. So it is actually possible to do it. It's just very, you got to be very spatially aware, okay? So we're going to drop down rank 1 consecration right here to tag these. And if you just keep your eye out on the floor, try and avoid all of the things on the floor, because I noticed that's where they typically reset. Also be cautious of those silences as well, guys. So as you notice, the mobs aren't resetting now, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want. We're getting silenced a lot though, so this could be an issue. Pop up the holy potion. Try and dispel as much as possible. Okay, and we've been stunned. Okay, this is very bad. It's no worries though. I'll continue to, you know, go as much as possible. Right, I'm going to change out to Skull Flame Shield right here. And to be honest, I'm also going to change over to the Consecration Aura too. Now I'm going to start strafing again. Hopefully my HP should start going up, because I've got Skull Flame on. Okay. Now I've probably just killed that mob as well. There's no worries. Drop down the Consecration. Okay. Now I may have to pop bubble on this one. And I don't know if you guys are paying attention or not, but during the first pull, I didn't even need to bubble, which was absolutely amazing if you ask me. So we're going to jump over here right now. And yeah, this is basically it, guys. So we'll drop down Consecration, rejudge, reseal, pop Holy Potion, and there we go. That's basically the run. So yeah, I think it was the second run, or the third one, I don't remember which one. You guys will see it back in the video anyway. But yeah, I know that I had to actually use Lay on Hands for that run, which was pretty scary, to be honest. I thought I was going to die. You know, hopefully with that being there, you guys get to, you know, see how, you know, sometimes this can actually go horribly wrong. But also, you know, it's actually a pretty good farm, if you ask me, in terms of doing those satisfying huge AoE pulls like this. I do love seeing all the numbers there. But yeah, here we go as well, right? So that's about, what, 6 minutes? Just to do that. So he's got bubble on, so we're going to continue looting. Now the only slow thing about this obviously is this entire looting process. It takes me like nearly 3 minutes if I'm not mistaken. Same for these bits as well, where you have to click yes for it. It's a bit irritating. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. I'm gonna kill this guy as fast as possible, just get out of there. There we go. So yeah guys, that's basically the run. So I'm gonna loot all of these up real quick, and then we'll head on over to the vendor, I guess, to finish this video off. I'll let this video keep rolling as well, just in case we get a nice BOE blue like we got earlier. Also guys, a really fun thing to do, right? I know it sounds pretty bad when I say it, but one of these curses, like you've just seen it there as well, it summons like a ghost, like a level 21 ghost I think it was. Now what's really funny about that is, if you go to a city and you have that curse on, I think it's this one, no this one, the haunting spirits. If you go to a city, like any random city where you've got your typical level 1 bankers, or you know, low level characters that people have in the city, if you go there with that and the ghost appears, it actually starts attacking those lower levels rather than you. So if you wanted to troll somebody, I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, that's one amusing way to do it, I guess. But of course the guards will actually attack the ghost as well, so they probably won't die, to be fair, which is all good. Right, that's all them corpses looted. Now normally you should just jump straight over and run and, you know, loot everything up, but obviously I know a few of them died up here, so we're gonna grab these as well. Right, since we are here, we will loot this chest this time. Let's see what we get. Nothing interesting. But yeah, so the reason why I was selling absolutely everything to the vendor rather than disenchanting stuff and turning the cloth into bandages, because obviously I know that you get more money for that. It's just that, you know, with regards to time, because if you look, we're about 50 minutes before we hit lockout. So I mean, on the final run it's acceptable to do that, but for the other runs, if you really want to speed through it, I'd say just sell everything, don't worry about it, because particularly for these lower level stuff like the linen cloth, there isn't much of a difference between, you know, selling the cloth and the bandage. I mean, what is it? It's like 13 copper for a linen cloth, and how much is it for a bandage? Let's have a look. Pause that timer as well. So for a heavy linen bandage, there you go, it's level 22 by the way guys. Yeah, where are we? Heavy linen bandages are 20 copper, so, you know, 7 copper difference. I mean, when it comes to the time, it's not really worth it. Also, this point here, this is where you'll know if you've done it correctly or not, because if you messed up in that room over there with all the ghosts in, obviously when they reset, you'd see them all around there, and you'd see the ghosts walking across that bridge as well. So we actually missed those mobs there, they disappeared. It's no worries though. So yeah, always take the shortcut as well guys, so you jump over here like so, and you're back at the entrance, which is fantastic. So there we go guys, that's Shadowfang Keep in one pull, more often than not without a bubble as well. And we've also done the 5 runs there in under 15 minutes, which is actually pretty cool, to be fair. Hopefully you've enjoyed that as well guys, I know I did. In fact, let's just double check we have actually hit lockout. I don't want to you know, miss out by accident, so we'll reset the instance. Yeah, too many instances too soon. That's fair enough. So right guys, I'm going to head on down to the vendor now, and I'll see you guys shortly. Okay guys, so here we are at the vendor, right? So if we click on him, we're firstly going to take a look at our repair. Well, in fact, we'll do that last. So if we look at Titan panel, so far we've actually made 17 gold from the first 4 runs, and obviously we looted a bit of money there as well. So what I'm going to do again is, in fact, tell you what, since it is the last run, I may as well make all of the bandages and that. So we'll start out with the heavy linen bandages. Now yeah, so anyway, going back to like why I'm selling the greens and stuff as well, right, is because if you take a look at the vendor value of some of these greens, it's actually more than what you can get for you know, the single enchanting thing that you do get. I think it's strange dust that you get from most of these greens, with the off chance to get things like a soul dust and whatnot, as well as those other green ones like I think it's the magic essence or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so with the amount of greens that you pick up in the dungeon versus the amount of enchanting mats that you get, I think it's safe to say that you get more money from just vendoring these as they are rather than disenchanting them. Plus, of course, since we are in fact, I don't even know where we are. What's this place called? Silver Pine Forest. My bad. But yeah, so in Silver Pine Forest, there's actually no alliance camp. This is the only vendor around here. There's no mailbox or anything. The closest mailbox is all the way down here in Hillsbrad Foothills in South Shore. So if you were to disenchant all of the stuff, obviously it's going to take up bag room, which, you know, as you've seen from this single run, I'm nearly at full bag. So after 2 runs, you're going to need to what's it called? You're going to need to go to the vendor. I mean, of course, fortunately, this is right here, which is fantastic. But yeah, you're going to have to travel all the way down there. So I mean, maybe for the last run, the last 2 runs, since you do hit lockout, maybe you go down there. But other than that, it's not really worth it. There are a couple of items that I would keep, such as the Mossa Gates, since they actually sell for, like, according to TSM on my server, it's 89 silver. So I'd keep a hold of things like that, definitely. But as for the bandages, only on the last run, make the bandages. Before that, so the 3 or 4 prior runs, turn them into gold straight away. Don't waste your time doing that. I mean, same for the other gems as well. I'd keep hold of most of them, to be fair, except for that. Obviously, that's only a silver more, so we'll sell that. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, right. So yeah, here we go. So I'm going to sell absolutely everything right now. Boom, and there we go, guys. So I mean, these are the only items that we got left. Obviously we've got that nice blue, which is worth about 3 gold according to TSM. We've also got that's worth 20 silver, and that's worth so we'll say 4 gold for those items alone. Okay, so if we look at Titan panel first, right, so we've actually made a total of 20 gold in 5 runs from Shadowfang Keep for killing absolutely everything. I know obviously the bit where we drop down consecration to kill all the mobs, I know obviously there's a bit further past there with, I think there's 3 other bosses up there, but again, as I explained in the original video to this, there's just no point doing it. It's a waste of time because the amount of mobs that are up there is purely not worth your time because there's no shortcut back from that point on. Okay, so the bit where I go is the most time efficient in my opinion, and obviously, you know, we're getting the most bang for a buck since we are taking out absolutely everything. Of course, I've missed out a few chests, I'm aware of that, which doesn't really matter in this because, you know, you're not really going to get much more gold than this per hour from Shadowfang Keep. Of course, this gold per hour can go up if you get lucky with things like the blues. Not so much this one that I picked up. It's more so these ones here. So with the likes of those really good twink items such as Assassination's Blade, as you can see, that's worth like 220 gold. Same for Shadowfang, that's worth 340 gold. That's absolutely insane. Most of the other blues are actually pretty damn decent as well in terms of the gold value. That's not that great, but still, it'll add up to your total gold made. Actually, that's interesting. The item that I have isn't listed there. So I've got the Fire Bane Cloak and it's not on Atlas Loot, but it's no worries. But yeah, obviously these items here are the only thing that really make this gold farm worth it. Now, I'll tell you an honest truth, like, I've ran this now in Classic a total of around 100 times, and I'll be honest, this is the first blue I've ever picked up from there. So, we all know that I'm probably not so lucky, unlike other people that do, you know, do these kind of farms, but take it from my experience, like, they are pretty damn rare to come across. Don't get me wrong, of course, if you do get one and you are more of a lucky person, then definitely, I'd say go at it if you fancy your chances. But yeah, other than that, not really worth it in my opinion. I mean, you know, other than doing simple things like, you know, maybe selling the greens rather than vendoring them, that might increase it a little bit. So at a push, I'd say probably 30 gold. But again, that's the absolute limit, because we've got to take into account repairable in a minute as well. So if we look, we've got 60% durability, which means that our repair cost is going to be 5 gold. So in total, we've only made about 15 gold from that, obviously plus the 4 gold. So we'll safely say it's actually 20 gold, taking away the repairable, being generous of course. So yeah guys, that's Shadowfang Keep. Again, like I say, I wanted to revisit this one, particularly because I have done I think I've done 2 videos since the original gold farming video where I actually did it in 3 pools. I wanted to show that, you know, obviously the whole pool, which at the time I didn't actually do, unfortunately, but this time obviously I've done it, and without a bubble, which is pretty damn impressive if you ask me. So yeah, that's the main reason why I wanted to do that. Plus it's an awesome gold farm anyway. You know, if you've got a lot of steam that you want to get off and, you know, you've had a hard day, nothing better than going down Shadowfang Keep, blowing up the entire dungeon and walking out with a little bit of gold extra, to be fair. Also, a tip that I never said in the original gold farm to this is obviously, you know that for the Alliance players you've got the vendor right here. But if you come here at night time, now I'm not sure entirely what time you'd consider night time, but these do turn unfriendly, they become Worgens. So if you're going to do this and it's night time, just be aware of that, because obviously you won't be able to use the vendor here. But yeah guys, other than that, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Hopefully that's been informative to you guys. You know, it's been interesting to see if it's any better or not, which in terms of doing it, yeah, it's better, but in terms of the actual gold made, it's not better at all. Because I'm pretty sure that I sold things on the auction house for the original gold guide that I did in here, rather than vendor everything. You'd have to excuse my memory, it's been a while since I did that video. But yeah guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please share it with your friends, I'd massively appreciate that if you did do. But until the next time, everybody.
It's been fun.
See ya.